afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being at our December 2025 Regional Transit Advisory Panel meeting, RTAP meeting. Is my microphone a little hot? Is that going to be okay on the ears? Everything good? Little strong, Ms. McClellan? All right, we'll get it dialed in there. I think that's good, Rob. Thank you, Rob. Well, again, thank you for being at our RTAP meeting. We do expect perhaps a few more people to make their way in. I know this is an incredibly busy time of year for everybody, but I'm excited to have everybody here today, excited for your continued participation in RTAP and for your support in advancing transit opportunities within the Hampton Roads region. My name, I think, I know most everyone, but my name is Bob Crum. I'm your executive director here at the Hampton Roads Planning District Commission and the Hampton Roads Transportation Planning Organization. Welcome to the regional building. What I'd like to do is, before we get started, I think it's very helpful for everybody to know who's at the table and the broad group of organizations and entities that we have represented at this RTAP group. So I'm just going to start at my left and ask Pravitra to start off. If you could give your name and who you're representing today.
Good afternoon, Pravitra Parthasarathy with the Hampton Roads TPO.
And my apologies, I should have let you know that when you push the right button and it lights up red, you're live. And after you're done giving comments, if you could hit the button again, your mic will go off.
Good afternoon, everyone. Ben Goodall with Williamsburg Area Transit Authority.
Good afternoon, Steve Sims with Williamsburg Area Transit Authority.
Happy Wednesday. Dr. Kizart with Tidewater Community College.
Good afternoon. I'm Jason Souders with the City of Suffolk.
Good afternoon, Maria Tkowski, City of Suffolk with Suffolk Transit.
Good afternoon, Kwame McLaurin with the HRPDC, HRTPO.
Good afternoon, Jada Aldegon with Hampton Roads Transit.
Good afternoon and happy holidays. Sandra Plant with Step Up Incorporated.
Good afternoon, Diane Kaufman with U.S. Senator Tim Kaine's office.
Good afternoon, Noelle Pinkard with Hampton Roads Transit. Excuse me.
Happy holidays. Brittany Sherrod with Elizabeth River Trail Foundation representing Kendra Green.
Happy holidays, everyone. Megan Gribble, City of Portsmouth.
Good afternoon. Angela Afon-Ponce. I'm with VDOT Hampton Roads District Planning.
Good afternoon. I'm Keisha Wilkins, also with VDOT Hampton Roads District Planning.
Season's greetings. I am Mark Vilda-Gutrovsky, Interim Chair of the Community Advisory Committee Alumni Association.
Howdy, everybody. How to use a different greeting. I'm Andrea McClellan. I'm currently and very proudly the founder and CEO of a new company called Oculus Rail. We are tracking data on blocked railroad crossings throughout the region. Previously, Norfolk City Council, Hampton Roads Transit Chair, HRPDC Chair. I'm very happy to be with y'all today.
Happy Wednesday, everyone. I'm Stephanie Gorham with United Way of Southampton Roads, and I love the new mic system.
Hi there. Mary Kate Andrus, President and CEO of Civic Leadership Institute.
Good afternoon. I'm Brad Martin. I'm a civil engineer with Pannoni Associates.
I'm Matthew Harrington with the HRTPO.
John Polofchek, President of Virginia Ship Repair Association.
Fantastic. Let's go around the edge of the room real quickly. All right, Matt. Fantastic. And we'll have some other partners joining us, and we'll have them introduce themselves as they make their way on in. Welcome. Would you mind just real quickly your name and Fantastic. And to my right is Peter Shaw, who I think had to step out for a phone call and will be back in joining us. So before we get started, I would like to ask for a quick modification of the agenda. Our first speaker for Hampton Roads Transit on agenda item number 11, the sustainability study overview and update, does have to move on. I'd like to be respectful of their schedule and ask if we could approve the agenda with the modification of moving item number 8 up to be our first presentation item today. Any objections? Any objections to that? Can I get a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good. Public comments. Anyone who would like to address the RTAP today? Seeing none. Minutes. Your minutes from our October 20th meeting were included in your agenda. Could I have a motion for approval, please?
Motion for approval of meeting agendas.
Thanks, Dr. Kay. Is there a second? Second, Peter Shaw. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. Jim, welcome. Would you mind just a quick intro to everybody? Thank you, sir. All right, well, let's go ahead and jump in. We've got some really important agenda items today, and I'm going to. Noel, did you want to say any words to introduce this first item on the Hampton Roads Transit Sustainability Study overview?
Yes, I'm happy to. Thank you so much. I just want to introduce Thomas Becker. He is our Manager of Communications, and he's going to be presenting on the System Sustainability Study and our System Optimization Plan that we are currently engaged in at HRT.
Thank you, Noel, and thank you to fellow speakers for allowing me to go first. I appreciate it. As Noel said, I am Thomas Becker. I am the Communications Manager and FOIA Officer with HRT, and I'd like to update you on our Regional Sustainability Study. Like many transit agencies around the nation, we've experienced financial headwinds in the years following the COVID-19 pandemic. That included, we're seeing recovery certainly on ridership. That has continued to go up, but is still below pre-pandemic levels. And we're seeing the effects of inflation. So any capital costs, any operating costs are certainly going up as well. So this combination of this stagnant fare revenue and elevated costs has led to some financial operating shortfalls, which we've addressed proactively with drawdowns on some federal pandemic relief funds. This is something that's happening at transit agencies across the country. We're very active in APTA, which is our trade association, and I'm very active on the public relations marketing side, and everyone is facing this issue. But I wanted, in the meantime, to provide an update on what we're doing about it in our region. Working with our partner, WSP, we've created a study that outlines a pathway toward long-term financial sustainability so we can continue to serve Hampton Roads with safe, reliable, and efficient transit. The goals of the study are to see how we compare to peer agencies across the country, to better understand our role in supporting economic prosperity and quality of life in Hampton Roads, to identify the resources needed for HRT to continue to operate high-quality service while making capital investments needed for our state of good repair, and finally, to address the structural operating shortfall through a mix of new revenue sources and some cost-saving measures, which I'll run through later. Don't expect you to look at every little number here. I'll give you an update. So it's always good to see where you stand across the country. So the study looked at some factors that paint us in a pretty good light. Per capita spending on transit operations, that measures the overall spending on transit normalized by population in the respective urban area. HRT is slightly below the average of peers when it comes to per capita spending. The support cost per service hour, this captures all costs related to the administrative functions of the agency, such as planning, finance, legal, human resources, marketing, strategic communications, which I'm part of. HRT's administrative cost is $28.88 per service hour, so that's the lowest rate delivered among the peers evaluated, and it's 36% below the peer average. Advertising revenue per service hour, I'm very proud of this with our department delivering on some extra revenue, but that's typically a small but significant source of revenue for us, and we are when you divide it by the number of service hours and modes, because we're multimodal, we're 45% above the peer average. And in 2023, we had over about 900,000 in revenue. That's certainly has gone up in the meantime. Bus service per passenger, that measures the amount of service delivered by the agency relative to the number of trips. So HRT has the highest number of bus service hours relative to the number of trips taken and is 98% above the peer average. Bus operating costs, so that's per service hour. That includes direct costs associated with delivering bus services, such as the driver's salaries and fuel, as well as allocated shares of facility maintenance and administrative functions. HRT has the lowest cost per service hour among the peers by 34% on average. Fare revenue per trip, that reflects the base fare rates, monthly passes, discount programs for seniors and students, and the rates of fare evasion, and we outperform the peer average by 13%. Fare box recovery, it's always interesting to see this because only a small smidgen of revenue comes from fare box recovery, and in that case we are 17% below the average, but certainly in the middle of where our peers stand. So that gives you a snapshot of the data that they were looking at. Yes, Bob?
I have to ask on fare box recovery, who's that dot that pointed right there?
I can't tell you.
Mr. Crum, can you possibly use your microphone?
My apologies. You waited a long time to get me on that. Well played. I wanted to ask HRT who that circle was the whole way out to the right there.
I don't know without looking, but I'll talk a little bit about our Go Mobile, which we expect to have a positive impact on fare revenue. So I know all these numbers make you dizzy. So we've created an online story map. It's a digital tool that tells our story in an interactive way. It's a brand new website. In fact, it's not even hosted by us yet. It's hosted by WSP, but it features statistics, maps, photos, and video testimonials, including from the Navy, by the way, to showcase our history, growth, and impact on employment, economic impact, and community development. I am not sure if you click the link what happens, but I will make sure that once it's up, we will share that link because it's something you want to kind of sit down with. It's truly fun to go through it and explore the maps and the data if you're into that. The study found that our financial outlook is similar, as I said, to many transit agencies nationwide. Our ridership, while slowly increasing, and fare revenue certainly have been slow to return to those pre-pandemic levels, and I've mentioned the inflation that goes along with it. So we've relied on that temporary funding provided during the pandemic, but that's to be fully utilized by our fiscal year 28. So all of that is not enough, so we're taking steps now to ensure our future success. So what are we doing about it? We're proactively identifying performance improvement opportunities that reinforce our commitment to fiscal responsibility and public trust. That includes redesigning the local bus service through a system optimization plan, I'll talk about that later, that is focused on ensuring that available service is aligned with passenger demand and with considerations to recent changes such as post-pandemic commuting habits, right? And I'll explain more about our SOP, system optimization plan, shortly. We're identifying other opportunities to use federal funds where, we're funded in many different ways from federal, state, local, and regional basis. We're also reviewing internal operations to make sure that we're identifying the cost savings we need to operate efficiently. So we've gone through that process as well. And that includes engaging with all of our employees down to the department level to see how we can better maximize efficiency. So we're definitely pursuing this continuous improvement to elevate our operations to increase efficiency and reduce costs. And we're examining things like procurement and vendor-related costs as well to identify some savings. So these initiatives are laying down the foundation for a financially sustainable future, ensuring we continue to deliver safe, reliable, and high-quality transit in the Hampton Roads region. I mentioned Go Mobile, which is our new payment options that will be fully live by the second quarter of next year. So between a mobile app, a tap card or a debit card, credit card. Anyone can kind of walk in and without the need of buying a pass and so on can log in for an account and start riding. And we feel, I'll get to you in a second, we feel that a Go Mobile system will encourage more ridership through what we call choice riders, those who want to take transit, and also those who may not have tried it before, but feel that it's more convenient. Yes, question?
I'm always curious when we have make statements, expected savings. Is there a dollar amount connected to that statement?
So no, it's an expectation, and that's a great question that came up with our last commission meeting. So we've been busy in sort of getting the behind the scenes technology moving forward, but we're definitely going to track that because we want to see obviously where once we implement a version of that, where ridership is and how that translates. But if you look at other agencies that have done this, they've definitely seen an increase because frankly, it's easier to pay. You don't have to go through as many hoops. You don't have to study as much to get on board of one of our buses, trains, or ferries. Excuse me. So I wanted, yes, good transition. I'll talk about system optimization plan next.
So curious, will there still be an option for people, I'm thinking about our students, to pay with cash when they get on the bus?
Yes, so things like the Student Freedom Pass, if you, senior discounts, and yes, cash. We find that we're not going to eliminate that ability. Okay. There's so many of our customers are unbanked. They don't have a smartphone. So we definitely want to do that. We're hoping that we're just broadening the options to pay, and therefore will attract more people, but we're not going to take away that fundamental ability to pay by cash. The system optimization plan, I mentioned that, but that specifically is about how we can realign our network to be more efficient, to put those limited resources to the best use by reducing those low ridership bus services and reinvesting those into routes with higher demand. We've presented this to the 6 city councils in the 6 cities that we serve. Many of you know Ray Amoruso. Today is his last day at Hampton Roads Transit, and he has been diligently briefing city councils for the last couple of years in one way or the other about this plan. Our plan will, we hope, increase ridership by putting better service on the roads in terms of buses, improve reliability, because right now we face, this is an interesting statistic, and we're not hiding behind anything. We missed 1,200 trips in June 2025 because we did not have enough operators. Now, the operator issue is definitely a national trend as well. We're not the only ones, but that is something that we have worked on hard in terms of recruitment. It's not always easy to retain a bus operator, but we are making changes that, and I'll give you an example. What if one route runs every hour, carries 7 passengers, right? Well, what if that route were to be either readjusted or another option came to the table? We could maybe increase that service to every 30 minutes by going in a different direction. So the passenger would get better service and we would need fewer operators. And we hope to become more cost effective. So right now it's paying, so the local routes that are impacted by what we want to do cost $6.43 more per passenger trip to operate than our other regional background service. And so we want to, better align our operators and to the demand that we have. And what it's going to mean in every city that we serve is eliminate service on low performing local routes, streamline or consolidate routes to remove duplication in the network, realign moderate and high performing routes to maintain the fixed route coverage, and adjust the level of service and service type based on land use and employment density and demand. Now, you're going to ask the first question, is anyone going to be left behind? And we've done a study on that, and the answer is no. They're going to all still have access to public transportation in a different way, and I'll talk about that in a minute. We're looking at eliminating 12 underperforming routes in the 6 cities, and that means reducing by 90,000 local service hours, 14 peak vehicles, and more importantly, in the context of operator shortage, freeing up 65 operators. What are we going to do with those operators? Well, we're going to redeploy them to implement 15-minute peak service as well as our new on-demand ride sharing. We've had successful pilot programs in Newport News and Virginia Beach. We are expanding that in the next, January 12th. I can talk about it here. We're expanding microtransit, our on-demand ride sharing, to Hampton and Chesapeake as well. Newport News will remain, Virginia Beach will go away, but these are pilot programs that are mostly paid by the cities as well as state trip grants. So we've been very pleased that the minivan, essentially, right, can deliver you to a virtual bus stop or get you closer to a fixed route. And that's the future of transit in many markets, and we're embracing that as well. To fully implement, by the way, our regional network, we really need 242 peak vehicles and 461 operators, and we feel that this would do that, and including an extra board. An extra board is having operators on standby in case someone calls out sick and that sort of thing. So these are the type of things that we had a discussion with every city council. Here's the timing of that. We're in the process right now of redefining and tweaking our plans. The two cities on the peninsula that we serve have opted to share that with a consultant. And so we're working with the cities and the consultant to accommodate their desires and needs with our requirements as well. In the first quarter, we'll start public open houses to talk about the route changes, and then final city council briefings in the second quarter of next year. And we'll bring it to our own commission in the April-May timeframe of next year. And we'll begin really a 3 or 4 stage implementation in May of 27. So we make route changes, we call board changes, in May and October, and this is going to be at least a year and a half worth of changes before this is fully implemented. And we believe that, again, any questions on that before I conclude? Yes.
Just a quick question. Do you anticipate that this optimization will reduce the rider time? That's a concern.
Yes, that's one of the benefits, right? Okay, so here's a good example. Let's say you're on your bus route, local bus route. It's oftentimes during the day once an hour, which we recognize is not optimal. If you miss that bus, you're waiting another hour, or you have to find a different way. By optimizing things and maybe moving a bus stop or getting you there with microtransit, you now have access to a 30-minute service, or ideally 15 minutes on some trunk routes. And we believe that, yes, that will improve reliability. It'll improve convenience for the rider as well. We have a saying that our CEO, Mr. Harrell, likes to mention, and that is, you may not use transit, but you have someone that you rely on who does need transit. And so we're very cognizant of our impact on the job market, and reliability is a key factor. We are not hiding. We are, doing our best to bring operators in. It has not been to be honest, it's been a challenge. And we want to make sure that not only will we improve reliability, but we'll make sure that we have the operators we need and redeploy all the assets to make the most difference.
Ms. McClellan?
Thank you. First of all, I highly endorse the system optimization plan. Secondly, I want to say something that probably can't be said by others, but because I'm Andrea McClellan, I will say it. This is a very political issue, right? So if you're a council person and you have somebody in your neighborhood, in your district, that is now going to be impacted because their stop is now no longer available, even though only maybe 5 or 6 people ride that, it's a hard decision. So I think this is akin to closing schools. Nobody wants their neighborhood school to close. However, when your attendance or your ridership decreases, it is important for the health of the entire organization to optimize our routes. So I just want to say thank you for taking this stand. I appreciate the fact that the 6 cities seem to be supporting this.
Yep.
That's a big political lift. So I just want people to recognize how difficult something like this is, but also how important it is for the health of the organization going forward.
Thank you for that. And as a reminder, we deal with 6 masters. We have the 6 cities, and guess what? We can't tell someone where we want to go. They have to agree to where they want us to be, and we operate that service. And this is the case in the Peninsula now, why it's taking a little bit longer. those routes, Newport News and Hampton intersect. So they do, but they do here too. The Route 15, goes from Norfolk, a little bit of Virginia Beach into Chesapeake, just over here. So yes, it's going to take a little bit more discussion, but we hope that the work that we've done behind the scenes too, in work sessions as well, that while, when we come to the council briefings for the final recommendations, all that work, hard work has been done. But you're right, it is welcome to our world, as you know.
Has anything changed in the ability to attract operators? I mean, I've heard that statement made many times in this room. Has anything changed there? Is the rate of pay increased? Has the benefits increased? Yeah. I mean, is it a lack of just finding qualified people? I'm just curious.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. We actually are doing, I would say, best practices when it comes to marketing to operators. And we've shown that because every job fair, every month, we do see an increase in applicants. Not everyone who applies, obviously, it does it. It is a tough job. What we've done is we've said, hey, if you're a retired truck driver, or maybe you've done, you've driven a school bus before, and we'll help you get your CDL if you're looking for a great career. All of the above. And so, but we're looking for people, we can teach them how to drive a bus. They need to have that customer service experience, right? The issue we have, which is the case in many larger transit agencies, you can get them in the door. And one of the benefits of the SOP here is we don't need to use them as much for mandatory overtime. So that was burning out some new folks as well. So we're working with the union. It's a hard job. I ride the bus regularly. It is a tough job. You might have some challenges with passengers, or there's traffic, or I've seen this too. Drivers cut you off. It's it could be a very frustrating job. They are our boots on the ground, our first, line of defense, if you will, our first person that a customer sees. And so we're looking for a particular type of person too. But knowing all those challenges, this SOP is going to do what we need, which is to reduce take the numbers that we have, disperse them in a different way, and not need as many drivers. We're not going to let anyone go. We're just going to, we need them on different types of routes.
Dr. K, did you have a question?
I do. I have just three quick questions. Just three, right? One, has there been first of all, do you, and if you don't currently have this in place, has there been discussion with area colleges and universities to train bus drivers?
Yeah, I don't have the details on top of my head,
Okay.
but in talking to Kim, our head of HR, yeah, we've done sort of career fairs and outreach and that sort of thing, definitely.
But so for example, at TCC, there's apprenticeship programs to help feed the need of the growing industry of apprenticeships, right? I'm wondering, has that been a conversation or a thought for you all to help fill the gap of? So yes, that has been a conversation.
I think we've I don't know the details, but I know we've had conversations.
And not so much as recruiting,
right?
But
just as
training,
a trade. Yeah,
as a
training,
trade.
yeah.
So the city of Norfolk and TCC had partnered to provide a specific training program for HRT. Noel, I'm looking at you. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was going to say Noel may know more than I do off the top of my head.
No, I know our recruitment department has been working with the city of Norfolk and TCC. I will get details of that program back to
Yes.
our
Where
town.
they do the training and they provide all of the.
But let's follow up and get her the
I'm happy
answers.
to follow
Thank you.
up, Dr. K. And everyone, I'll get that back to Bob and Pavithra, and we can share that.
My second quick question is, do you all offer wellness programs to your current drivers?
Yes, I mean, the benefits are excellent. Someone asked about we've increased wages as well, but yeah, our benefits are great, and they include things like, wellness, discounts to gyms, health fairs. They can come in and get free, health assessments, things like that. We have all kinds of fun and not just fun, but just acknowledgement of their talent and services. Yeah.
The last question is with the micro transit. and the vans, are there additional fees to utilize the?
No, thank you for asking that. So the vans are typically minivans, they're branded. They are outsourced. In other words, they're run by a separate company who has the drivers. But it's the same fare as any HRT mode, $2 one way.
Brad, I know you had a question as well.
Yeah, thanks. And I was stuck on your benchmark slide that Bob rightly pointed out the extremes on either end of one of those graphs. But I'm interested in the extreme of where HRT falls there in the middle of bus service per passenger, and you're in the 98th percentile beyond the average there. Bus service per passenger, what are the variables that go into that? And do we just have so few passengers, but so many options for routes?
Yeah, so it measures the amount of service delivered by the agency relative to the number of trips. So we have really the highest number of bus services relative to those trips. So that's exactly what it means, which means, I think, and you can chime in, Noel, there's an opportunity here to maybe eliminate some routes that carry 3-4 passengers an hour and shrink that down.
Just following up on what Thomas said, this is very important too, because we are measured at the state level on our efficiencies. And the less ridership we have, the more service we have out. I don't want to say we're penalized, but we compete we all compete, Suffolk Transit, WADA, with 40 transit properties in the state for a finite amount of money. And if you have low ridership and a lot of service, you don't score well. So part of the outcomes of this SOP will be we can avail ourselves to more money at the state level.
That's what I'm worried about, is when we are so far outside the averages in what I think is a critically important statistic like that, bus service per passenger, how that affects us.
And keep in mind too, the system hasn't changed much. So you're looking at pre-pandemic levels, and now we still have the same service, so that's going to skew that number.
I think too, since we merged in 1999, Pentrain and TRT, we have 68 local bus routes that haven't changed in 25 years. So this SOP is critical to not only address, rising costs and the bus operator shortage, but to get us more competitive at the state level too.
Yeah.
And just a real quick second question, I'm sorry, but based on your answer to the last question over there, the $2 per ride, you had a setup there that the final mile or the micro transit was $6.43 more per ride?
No, the stat was, hold on. No, microtrans is actually less expensive than a fixed route.
What was the $6.43?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Let me go there.
There it is.
The SOP impacted routes, the local routes we're trying to address, are more than our regional backbone service and much more than, let's say, our microtransit service. So the idea of the microtrans is the transit speak, but we call it on-demand ride sharing. It's really that first last mile. So if you're in a zone of those cities, you don't have access, your bus comes, 5 blocks away once an hour. Well, in 15 minutes, you can grab a minivan and get you to the mall or wherever you need to go. And I'll just conclude, again, just to say that we're looking at really, this whole plan, this whole study, including the SOP, so really strengthening our impact, giving us a little better planning for some financial, sustainability, optimizing our service, and I think that's key. And of course, balancing the efficiency with our quality, and reallocating the current structure into something that can serve the region better.
Thank you very much for that overview. Are there any other questions or comments?
If not, I know Noelle's sticking around and she'll have, in many cases, better responses than I can provide. But I wanted to thank you for your time. We always enjoy coming here. We've enjoyed working with the other transit agencies too. I want everyone to know we are aligned. We do talk, and we have a pretty powerful, transit system here. But it is time for some changes, and we're looking forward to implementing those with everyone's help. Thank you.
If I may make one comment, maybe on behalf of HRT, a second. So when you looked at this optimization plan, keep in mind what's draped over all of that in terms of complexity is a regional cost allocation model that provides HRT their funding from the local governments. Noel, please jump in and correct me if you don't agree with this, but that model is really 6 individual budgets that fund the operation of 6, if I may, Ms. McClellan, individual transit systems. Would you agree? That then are managed by HRT. And that's where the complexity of routes not lining up in terms of timing, operating hours, et cetera, really makes matters very complex for HRT to operate within. So they're trying to optimize these routes, still realizing that it's 6 local budgets that are used to fund their operation. So if I'm a local city, I get to purchase the operating hours that I want off of HRT, and my neighboring city might not have as much money provided to HRT, and Noel, that obviously really creates some challenges, right?
No, you're absolutely right, Bob. And I think what's so exciting about the SOP is that when we free up the operators, we can fully implement the 757 Express program, the regional transit system, which is based on funding we got in 2020. We got regional funding. So we're not reliant upon the individual cities for the routes that we're proposing in 757 Express, and we can have 15-minute service that crosses jurisdictional boundaries, but we don't have to go, hand into the cities asking for more money for this program.
And here's a fun fact to build on that and to leave you with. We can't even put a shelter in or a garbage can in without the city's approval. So again, look at us as the operator, but we're coming now with some strategic, strategic ideas to improve.
Very good. Well, thank you, HRT. I really appreciate the briefing today and the RTAP members, the conversation. Okay, so let's move on to the next item. So we'll get back to our agenda. Really excited to receive an update from Suffolk Transit, Maria. And we heard from WADA at our last RTAP meeting, and know that Suffolk Transit's been doing a lot of great work, and I'm excited to hear an update on the Suffolk Transit system.
Hello. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Maria Takowski, I'm the transit manager for the city of Suffolk. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about some of the things we're trying to do with Suffolk Transit to kind of enhance our customer experience. So I want to first start with, we have started a bus shelter art program. So we created this as a kind of creative and a practical response to some of the vandalism issues we're having with some of our bus stops. As most people know, if you've seen bus stops, they're typically made with glass panels. And for some reason, there's a fascination with making those crack into millions of little pieces. And so then you've got a bus shelter that simply becomes an open air gazebo because now there's no glass panels. So instead of us just trying to constantly go out there and replace these glass panels, we have decided to do something a little different. So we're essentially wrapping panels in vinyl artwork that has been created by local artists. So we are basically combining the repair of these with creative design, and overall it's going to enhance the appearance of the bus shelters. It'll celebrate local talent and promote a sense of community pride in the bus stops in some of these areas, and helping to deter that future vandalism. So what we decided to do is we partnered with the Suffolk Art League, and we did a call for artists for them to submit artwork for bus shelters. For the first part of the project, we selected 2 artists from the Hampton Roads region, and we identified 2 shelters for the pilot phase of this. This also works in conjunction with our vision for downtown Suffolk and its revitalization in creating art in some different places inside of our downtown corridor. So the selected artwork, we printed it on high quality vinyl wraps, and we applied them to metal backing plates for these 2 particular shelters. The total cost per shelter was only $500 for the artwork, and that's front and back. For some shelters, if they back up to vegetation, you only have to do the front. The expected lifespan is 4 years under typical weather conditions. And so this is the first piece of art we chose for our bus shelter that is on our orange route. And so this has been put up. This is a local artist from Norfolk. It's legitimately on the same type of material you use to make street signs. So it's aluminum. And so it's been wrapped on that. So this is the first shelter that we did. And then this is our second shelter. So this one, as you can see, doesn't back up to vegetation. So there is a front and back to it. This artist actually created this piece of artwork for our Taste of Suffolk festival we do. And this was branded through all of that marketing materials and on t-shirts and all of that. This particular bus stop happens to be right across from a restaurant. So it seemed very fitting for us to use this kind of Taste of Suffolk art where it really celebrates food in this particular bus stop. And this backs up to our courthouse parking lot on East Washington Street. So the featured artist, you can kind of read a little bit about the two individuals that we used for these two pieces of artwork. We basically just let them submit a bunch of different pieces of art, and then we, of course, had to make sure that this would work okay on something that's being blown up to 10 feet long and 4 feet high, so that it didn't lose any of its resolution. With Clayton Singleton, we've actually picked another piece of his art that we're going to use at one of our other bus shelters. That's the one on the top. So that's going to go on East Washington Street at our Wilson Pines bus stop. That one does have glass on it, so we will actually just wrap the glass panels themselves. And then the other one that's below there, we're going to put right near City Hall, and that is basically Suffolk kind of described in artwork. Like I said, we're turning our downtown area into a bit of an art district. So what you see, that mural, that's actually been painted in downtown Suffolk at our downtown festival park. If anybody knows anything about Suffolk, people do like to do skydive Suffolk, so that's why you've got your skydiver there. And then since we're doing this art initiative, you have the art paintbrush and the pencil there. So those are just two of the pieces of art that we're going to do at some of these other two shelters. So our plan is to expand this to all of the bus shelters that are in the city of Suffolk. So if you know anybody or if you're an artist and you want to submit some artwork, we're trying to build a portfolio for as we start to do more and more bus stops. So feel free to submit artwork and we can see if we can make it work on a bus shelter. So we want to be able to just basically put together a portfolio of art that we can kind of use as we go through doing more shelters. We are also working with our Parks and Rec department with the potential of actually purchasing a bus shelter that has laser cut artwork already in it. So that is another avenue that we are looking into as we are doing things with bus shelters. So that's the biggest project we're currently working on. They look really cool, like in real life. I mean, it's just all of a sudden this bus stop has this, your eyes just kind of drawn to it. And so I think it would be helpful to give people this idea that transit does exist. It can be a beautiful thing, help kind of take away some of the stigma that can sometimes be attached to being a transit rider, those kinds of things. So we're very excited about this program.
Yep. Can I pause you a second? Yeah. First off, how cool is this? Could you go back to your first... Yes, so...
this one or that one?
Yeah, maybe go back one more where you talked about, did I understand correctly, it was only $500?
Yep.
So the cost to do this, basically you're getting volunteers from artists.
Mm-hmm. They're volunteering their work, and then the $500 is us simply printing it onto the vinyl.
Thank you.
Yep.
So
and that is front and back.
So if we have a business, a school, organization who would like to adopt a stop, it's basically a $500 contribution to make this happen.
Yep. And like I said, if they're front and back, that's the $500. If not, you're going for $250 if it's one that backs up to vegetation, which some of them do. But yes.
So, Noelle, I thought for HRT and WADA too, Ben, in supporting Suffolk and what they're doing would be an amazing opportunity for our region. Can I pause a second? I don't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
Any thoughts? I mean, there's a number of, I kind of figure, Mary Kate, you'd be
So, my fundraising brain, right, turn right on. Like, I'd give you $500 right now. And I just out of my own personal checkbook to make sure that a local artist's art is featured on a bus stop. Like, I'd write you a check. So
$100, I'll give you the artwork.
just, we have so many talented, my son went to the governor's school, Andrea's son went to the governor's school. We have so many talented young people that went to the governor's school, that go to the governor's school, that do amazing art. How proud would their parents be to drive past a bus stop and see their amazing art on a bus? A bus stop. There's an amazing new bus stop I drive by every morning on, what the heck the name of that